All right, welcome back to our podcast. This is the Everything Music Podcast, and today we are going to be discussing all things about music and our views, our standpoints on music, if we play an instrument, and if we don't. So, I'm Liam. I play trombone in the Moeller band. Um,
I'm Ian Shannon, and I play trumpet in the Muller band.
I'm Daniel Runk, and I do not play an instrument.
So, Daniel, what are your views on music? Do you like to listen to any particular type of music?
Yes, my favorite type of music is alternative metal.
All right.
And some of the bands include there's Slipknot, Breaking Benjamin, Disturbed, and one of my favorites, Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. I've heard of them. My favorite rock band to listen to is probably Green Day. They make a lot of good music. And they just got some catchy tunes, but I personally like to listen to 80s rock. And Ian, what do you like to listen to?
It really depends. Like, I'll jump around from, like, Beatles type music to classical era type music.
Yeah. So, earlier I mentioned I play trombone in band. That's pretty much all I really know how to play. I can barely play a couple other instruments. Like, I can play one song on guitar and piano. Ian, do you know how to play any other instruments?
Yeah, I have played quite a lot. The first instrument I've ever started out on was piano.
Right, I think a lot of people start out on that.
And then I moved to sax for 4 years, and then a bunch of different other instruments. Like I play guitar and violin, but then I decided to remain on trumpet for the most part.
You're pretty good at trumpet. You got a nice loud sound. So Daniel, today we are going to teach you how to play one of these instruments. We're gonna keep it limited to trumpet or trombone, and later you're gonna choose which instrument you want to learn, and then we will teach you the fundamentals of said instrument. And your final test today is to play a B-flat scale, which is the very first scale everybody learns. It's very simple, and it's just the one that we use to warm up every day. It's nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we gonna pick an instrument? Is he gonna pick an instrument now, or are you gonna decide later?
I guess trombone.
Big trombone.
Interesting.
All right, big trombone, the guy with the slide. So, the trombone, there are multiple different types of it. There is the straight trombone, which is the one I mainly play. For one concert, I played the bass trombone, which is a much larger horn. It has a larger mouthpiece, closer to the size of a tuba mouthpiece. And it's got a couple of buttons on it, which the straight trombone does not have, right? It's got a thumb trigger, which you use to get to deeper octaves, because when you press the button, it opens up a whole new slide. So the straight trombone, it just has the one long slide, and then one other one just around to get to the bell. While the bass trombone has two other ones. It's got the main slide that the straight trombone has, but it's also got a smaller slide that the thumb trigger connects to. And if you want to get to really, really low notes, you hit the thumb trigger and the middle finger pedal, and that opens up both slides for more airway to get to lower notes. And that's where you get that big, deep tuba-y sound. But I just play the straight trombone. It's got a smaller mouthpiece, can get to higher notes, and there are 7 slide positions, right, on all trombones. You got the first slide position, which is all the way in. Second slide position, which is floating about midway between the bell and all the way in. The third slide position, which I like to think of as where this little slide lock piece lines up with the bell. That's where I usually base mine off of. Fourth slide position is where the end of the outer slide is lined up with the bell. Fifth is kind of just floating out in the middle. Sixth is where most beginners who are younger and have shorter arms, that's where they can reach all the way out. And then 7th is just all the way out, where you almost take the slide off like that. And there are 5 main parts of the trombone. There's the mouthpiece, the outer slide and the inner slide, the bell, and the tuning slide. And all brass instruments have those core 7 positions. Like, Ian, you want to explain the trumpet?
So the trumpet uses valves. Like back in the day, trumpets had no valves and they would just play notes. You can use your mouth to get separate notes, but nowadays we have valves. So what they do is they bring the notes down. So if you play a note, you can keep that note playing, and by pressing valves, you can bring notes down in pitch.
Okay.
And that's equivalent to kind of how the trombone works. You basically, when you press down a valve, it allows you to get to more tubing.
So, Daniel, I'm going to hand you this mouthpiece that I have here in my case. So go on and blow on it, just like little, like raspberry, basically. Just buzz it.
So
you don't really want to puff out your lips, though.
What I did when I was first learning brass, because I switched from woodwind to brass, is you kind of want to bring in your lips, not too much, but see, that's a little bit too much, and you want to just blow, just to get a note out, just blow as hard as you can,
Kind of like
and try to buzz your lips, like kind of keep your lips out like this.
Just think of it as like blowing a raspberry without your tongue, right? Just. Okay, so Daniel, keep your lips tight and just blow air. Just keep them together and then blow air.
You want to blow it in between to get those lips vibrating.
Yeah. So, when you get on the trombone, it might be a bit easier, but
Yeah.
try to put it into the trombone here. When you put a mouthpiece into a brass instrument, you kind of just want to let it sit in there. Sometimes you're going to want to put it in, twist it to 1/4, but since this is a 3D printed mouthpiece, you don't really want to do that, just to not get it stuck in the horn. So when you're holding it, you're going to want to have one hand on the slide, and then your second hand holding these 2 bars. So you want to hold it. You want, with the trombone, you're going to have to move your arm really fast. So you really only want like 3 fingers on the horn. And then with your other hand, you kind of just hold it like that, just around those 2 bars.
Yeah, so this is
That's the slide lock, so it doesn't fall off.
Yeah, this is one of the...
So, hold the slide like this. Pinch it like this. Good. So now you're going to want to hold that in your palm, and then have the rest of your fingers go around there. Okay, so now try buzzing a note. Yep. Keep your lips tighter, and don't puff out your cheeks.
Keep your corners tight, the corners of your lips tight. Make sure, maybe push the mouthpiece on a little bit more, not too much though.
It's fine, it's on there. Oh, you had it for a second.
Think like you're whistling, but then
Purse your lips.
yeah.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Now just keep more air going through it. So you're playing an F right now. So there are different notes that you can reach by going into different slide positions, right? So the 3 main ones that you can reach in first position are the low B flat, the F, and the high B flat. And so try going as low of a note as you can on the first position.
Yeah.
Just a little bit looser than... Actually, wait, no. Play the note that you were playing before, the F.
Yeah, just play that.
Okay, so that's a... Okay, so for a second you were playing the high B flat, and then you played the F for a second, right? So that's nice to have. So a thing that brass players have to work on is lip flexibility. So you need to be able to go high notes to low notes in the same position really fast, because sometimes that's what you just need to do in a piece.
Yeah, and if you ever want to actually join band, anyone listening, one of the things brass players work on is lip flexibility, going in between the harmonic series.
Yeah.
But dude, that's great.
That's
like,
really fast.
That tone quality was actually really good.
That's really good.
Yeah.
You also got it really fast. You got the sound clear and fast, which many players don't get right off the bat. So that's good. So try playing that F again, that one middle note. Keep your cheeks. Okay, so that was a low B flat. So try going between the three.
Going between the low B flat and the F? Is that what it is?
So yeah, that's good. It can be hard for beginners to sustain a note. For really just anybody. We got tuba players, we got trombone players, we have one French horn, and then a ton of trumpet players. But ask any of them, and when they're first learning an instrument, it's hard to keep a tone. It's hard to keep your breath, and that's another thing that we work on is getting big breaths so we can keep that air pumping out of the instrument to produce a good quality of sound. And then from there, you can go and diverse to a bunch of other things and fundamentals.
Yeah, dude. When I first got trumpet, it took me about 3 hours to actually get a tone out. So
yeah, and you did it in 3 minutes. So that's really good. And a lot of people would say that if you start on brass, it's a lot harder to learn a woodwind and vice versa. And we have somebody who did that in this room. So
yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, woodwind. I played sax, and then when I switched to trumpet, it was really hard to get my first tone out. But once I got my first tone out, I was able to apply what I knew from sax to trumpet.
Yeah. But
it's really about getting your first tone out. So that's the hardest part.
Yeah. So, yeah, just keep working on that tone. Don't forget to take breaths.
Yeah, you do need to breathe.
Yeah, the whole thing is about breath, and when you take a big breath, you get a big sound. So try taking a deep breath and blowing as hard as you can. So you started out with a really solid B flat.
Yeah, you started out with a really solid B flat, and then you went down to F, then you went down to B flat.
So yeah, that's pretty good. So now I'm gonna try to have you go from low B flat to low B flat to F to high B flat, down to F, down to low B flat. Lower. Alright, so there's your B flat, up to F.
There you go.
Alright, so now up to high B flat.
More tension. A little faster. There you go.
There you go. So back down to F. That's a low B flat.
One
up.
Faster.
There you go. Alright, then back down to the low B flat. There you go.
There you go.
So yeah, that's a really good first time on trombone.
So
That
those
is
are your
very much
fundamentals.
that is really good. We have a really good flute player in our band, and he is a trombone, and he has a lot of respect for it and all brass because it's so much different, and they're all hard to learn. But once you got it down, you got it down, and it's a hard thing to forget, but it's a really cool thing to have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
eventually you can start reading music and just appreciating the art more.
yeah, I think just the best thing for people that are wanting to get an instrument or getting into instruments are either joining your local band program or music program. But even if you don't particularly like an instrument that's in the band, you just want to do another instrument, find lessons. Like, you don't need to be a part of your band program just to play an instrument.
Right. And eventually you can have a clear tone quality and play scales to practice. This is the B flat scale. And it's just 7 notes, and it's easy to learn, easy to repeat.
And then if you'd like to hear it on trumpet, I'll
Of
play
course,
it.
of course. So yeah, some people would say that all woodwinds have the same fingerings, and that's pretty true as far as I know. And then all brass just has those core 7 positions or fingerings.
Like the notes, so like open position or like for
First.
trumpet.
It's
so it's
all
first
up.
and all up. We make the same tones.
Yeah, so
So
it's like a
yeah.
bugle. So yeah, it's a really cool thing to learn. It's really cool art to have, and it just lets you appreciate music more. And it's just a great thing to have.
Yes.
So thank you for listening to our podcast and teaching this kid about music, Daniel. If you liked our podcast, please consider subscribing or following this podcast. If you would like to learn more about instruments, there are many resources, and you can find one online. If you are younger, and consider joining your local band program. If you are older, you can go to your local music store. I believe the most important thing for everyone of all ages is to start listening to just music in general. All music has basically the same thing. It's just each genre you can translate it to other genres, and listen to all music right now to determine which instrument sounds the best to you. Many people go the route of piano and guitar, which are both fantastic instruments. This is a good basis to begin on the adventure to pick an instrument. Thanks for listening.